It had been rumored. We weren't sure if it was true. We saw the demolition notices. We saw the deterioration of the place, but we just weren't sure. We heard there was a case in court. We heard there were going to be alternative plans. We heard quite a lot. But on Saturday, the 3rd of June, 2023, the demolition man came into town again, and the very popular 30-year-old UTC complex was demolished. Shop owners stood in awe. Many of them claimed they had no idea this was going to happen. The FCTA authorities and the Abuja Investment Company Limited begged to differ. We'll get to the root of this issue and the matters arising in our interview segment. For our focus on the FCT, we bring you the details of the UTC demolition in Area 10. And in our Abuja wrap, we update you on all the happenings in Nigeria's presidency over the past week. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. Let's kick off with our Abuja wrap. A look at the major stories this week from Nigeria's seat of power.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the reconstitution of the board of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency and also approved construction work on some roads across the country, including the Abuja-Kefia-Kwanga Lafia Road and the Lafia Bypass Dualization Road, which extends to 9th Mile in Enugu State. The Minister of Works, Mr. Dave Umahi, made the disclosure after a meeting with the President at the Presidential Villa.
Mr. President also approved, the upgrading of Abuja Kefia Kwanga Lafia Road. Of course, it's an ongoing, but it's on a PPP with the Chinese. We are paying 15%. And of course, the construction of, Lafia Bypass Dualization, from Makodi through Oturupo, through Obolafo, down to 9th Mile. It's a major one. Mr. President has approved it. Again, it's being financed by China Exim Bank. The Lafia Kefi is also financed by China Exim Bank. Let me also announce that Mr. President approved the reconstitution of FEMA board, and this is very good for us so that work can now get a little bit more serious with this FEMA in terms of very prompt maintenance of the road.
President Tinubu also met with the Saudi Arabia Special Envoy and Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ahmed Al-Jabir, during which several bilateral issues, including the forthcoming Arab-Africa Summit and Saudi Arabia's bid to host the Men's Football World Cup in 2034, were discussed. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, who was also present at the meeting, described the discussions as wide-ranging.
This further strengthens the relationship. There are several areas that were discussed. We're both hydrocarbon producers. We're both responsible hydrocarbon producers. We're looking at the future. We're looking at energy transition. The minister actually also pointed out that there was a need to do more in terms of our cultural relations, and we have a lot in common.
The President has approved the appointment of Mr. Ola Olukoyede as the Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for a renewable term of 4 years. He also appointed Mr. Mohammed Hassan as the Secretary of the Commission. Both appointments are pending Senate confirmation. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mr. Mili Kyari, says, contrary to recent reports, no subsidy is being paid for petrol. He stated this in an interview with State House correspondents shortly after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu.
We have seen very few states, pockets of very low queues, not only connected with the road situation that we are seeing. There are a number of blockages on our road, crossing products from the southern depots into the northern part of the country, and it takes a much longer time than they do now. They have to reroute the trucks around many locations for them to be able to reach, and that created delays, and that created some supply gap, but that has been filled, and we do not see any of such problems again. And secondly, because of the full deregulation that we have in this sector, marketers are now competing amongst themselves. So one, you must have noticed some fuel stations will reduce price by 2 naira and 3 naira, so customers will naturally run to the places where you have that reduction in prices. And that creates panic, because for those who don't know why they are doing it, they will think that there's something wrong happening, or there's an ominous sign of scarcity, and people start queuing up in the fields. Otherwise, there is no challenge. Supply is robust. We have over 1.4 billion liters of product in our hands, both marine and land. And also that there are no issues around delivery of those products into the land. So there's no fear, nothing to bother about. But we're also happy that the market forces are now playing out and marketers are competing. And of course, there are a few issues we are engaging them to resolve alongside other agencies of government. And there are critical issues around access to foreign exchange. And we, as you all know, government is doing so much to ensure supply of FX into the market. We know that these FX markets will stabilize. Current A and E window is around 770. And we know that those inputs that's already happening, the inputs of government today will crystallize, and also they will come to an equilibrium position in the FX market. And this is the dream of this country, so that we'll have a stable FX market, stable product market, where the prices of product would also speak to prices of other commodities. And this is already manifesting. And we think this is the economic revolution that this country needs.
How many?
I told you there is no subsidy whatsoever. We are recovering our full cost from the products that we import. We sell to the market. We understand why the marketers are unable to import. We hope that they do this very quick, and this is some of the intervention government is doing. There's no subsidy.
President Bola Tinubu has given the Presidential Committee on Prevention of Flood in Nigeria 1 week to harmonize and submit its report. This followed an emergency meeting between Vice President Kashim Shettima and governors of the states located in flood-prone areas, held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State is the chairman of the committee.
This is an emergency meeting. There has been various reports, like I said, and that's why this particular committee that I am going to chair will come up with a roadmap within 1 week, so that there can be actionable, the plans can be actioned, so that all of our people that have been ravaged by flood will begin to have a succor. And then, still in the roadmap, because there are immediate, medium-term, and long-term solutions to all of these problems. So in that particular roadmap that we shall come up with, everything will be put on the table so that eventually we'll have a permanent solution to this flood. This is following the flood of the 2021, when the then Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development Minister, Hajia Saidia Farouk, was directed by the establishment of the National Flood Emergency and Preparedness and Response Plan, to ensure that we all come together, harmonize various reports. Remember, there are various reports and committees. So we need to harmonize all of these reports now, come up with one roadmap, and then address these various challenges.
The Senate says it will invite service chiefs in a bid to investigate the incessant crude oil thefts in the Niger Delta. The President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, made a resolution following a motion moved by Senator Ned Nwoko during plenary.
Despite the efforts of certain military personnel and security agencies like the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps and DSS in combating oil theft in the Niger Delta region, there are individuals within these institutions who engage in illicit activities. These individuals collaborate with unscrupulous figures within the oil industry to undermine the nation's economy. Also observes that it has come to attention that oil theft in Nigeria thrives due to a troubling collaboration between security forces, militia groups, the local population, and certain employees within oil companies.
The chairman of Body of Benchers, Justice Mary Peter Odili, is urging new lawyers to always uphold the ethics of the profession and desist from acts that could portray the legal profession in bad light. She gave the charge during the call to bar ceremony in Abuja.
We must live above board, as the public expects no less. When the public repeatedly see the justice system fail, the people's confidence in the law will decline. Therefore, if you see the system failing, propose changes in the laws or changes in the rules.
Welcome back. This week, we're focused on the demolition of the United Trading Company, or UTC complex at Area 10 in Garki, Abuja. The place has been a printing hub in the nation's capital for over 30 years. In that time, we saw a serious deterioration of the structures housing about 480 businesses. Makeshift shops sprung up within and outside its environs. Parking spaces were almost non-existent, and a visible rise in criminal activity within and outside the complex was evident. None of this can be denied. However, what plans were in place for the shop owners after the demolition? Were adequate notices given to them to move? And what's next for these 480 businesses? Please watch this. This is what remains of the popular UTC printing press market in the nation's capital, Abuja. The traders are not allowed to move beyond this fenced area. They watch helplessly as officials of the Federal Capital Development Agency reduce the shops to rubble.
The case has been in court for almost 3 years. We've been going front and back on the matter. But I believe if there should be any notice, it should be written. They have ways of communicating to us. A memo was still shared, informing us to pay our service charge. Yesterday, you can ask other trader. I don't know, but the thing is, I can't say for others, but me, I'm a shop operator here. I have 2 shops that I operate here. There was no notice.
We asked the officials of the Federal Capital Development Agency for the reasons behind the action and why the traders appear to have been taken unawares.
The ownership of this particular business premises reside with Abuja Investment and Company Limited. They own this space. They own the structures. They are the landlords. And over time, these structures are, weathered down by time, and they are structurally defective now. As a matter of time, for the past 2 years, they have been on this. And what we are doing is not total. Special removal we are doing. They can still come back and recover their wares.
We have incidences of forgery of sensitive security documents by touts. And when you go around this environment, you notice that these touts go around to do whatever they want to do. And the remodeling going on here will ensure that the touting level here is curbed to the barest minima, which will be good for the society at large. No, I don't think they are bringing down businesses. What they are doing here is remodeling. And I believe the development control director here is going to emphasize more on that. But no one is bringing down anybody's business here. They are just remodeling it for efficiency and better sanctity of the environment as a whole.
Some of the traders here disagree with the government officials, describing the action as inhuman.
The action is pathetic. The action is horrible. The action is evil. The action could be considered murdering. They want to kill thousands of people that are eating from this place. Friend, I want to assure you that no one has moved any single property out of this place. There are machines of 100 million, 50 million, 20 million in this complex. All of them are still here. They are machines of 100 million, sir. We have not moved anything, single thing, and they are collapsing the place. We have responsibilities. We are Nigerians. We are Nigerians. We are not strangers. We are Nigerians. Even if you want to remodel a place, you must make alternative place for the person to stay. They have not made any alternative place. Rather they show us a white canopy, what you can consider an IDP camp.
The UTC market hosts several printing presses in Abuja, and the government believes strongly that it needs a remodeling to meet the growing needs of its occupants. However, the majority of the traders in this market wish that the issue was approached differently in such a way that prevents the losses recorded with the demolition. It is a line the FCTA authorities have tried to navigate for decades as they try to ensure the Abuja master plan is adhered to and international best practices applied in the running of markets such as this one, balancing development and safeguarding businesses that cater to the needs of hundreds of families. Ultimately, residents of the nation's capital must bear in mind that the nation's capital has a master plan, and all businesses must be in tandem with that plan. They must also bear in mind that the plan evolves, and whatever investments they have made must be ready for that evolution. My guest on the program is Mr. Hassan Ogbole, the Deputy Director of Monitoring and Inspection, Department of Development Control, FCTA. He gave me a shocker during this interview, one that I think many residents would like to hear, especially if you have a shop in Wuse Market. He tells us a lot of the issues the traders are facing must be sorted with the owners of the complex, the Abuja Investment Company Limited. He claims this demolition is the best thing to happen to that neighborhood and gives a heads up on other markets that could be up for demolition in the nearest future. Please watch this. Mr. Hassan Ogbole, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you, ma.
You know, UTC is one of the oldest shopping complexes in Abuja. And for people like me who've been in Abuja since the 90s, you know, we saw those demolition notices and things like that. And we actually saw how the place changed over the years. In many ways, a deterioration. But I have a few questions for you as regards this demolition. Let's start with the beginning. Were notices given to the shop owners that a demolition was about to happen?
It wasn't mandatory, but although we did that, because the notices we marked, that was marking on the wall of.
How long ago was this notice given?
No, that was about more than a year ago. More than a year ago.
Were there follow-ups?
There were follow-ups. Were licensed between us and Abuja Investment Company Limited, and.
What about the leadership of the people that have shops?
We don't get involved.
Okay.
Because
but you put up the notices.
We did.
And you said you did a follow-up.
Beyond the notice that we served on the wall, there were a series of jingles and media, announcements to that effect continuously, on continuous basis. I'm sure up to the day before the operation, those announcements were on the air.
Okay, so let's move on to the temporary site.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you said that was one of the things that you demanded of the company.
Mm.
This temporary site, a lot of the traders say this site does not have electricity. Many of them told us that they had paid 250,000 naira. They said about 300 of them had paid about 250,000 naira each. But that this new temporary site does not have electricity in particular. Are you aware of this?
That is outside our purview. We are not part of the arrangement. We're not part of that arrangement between the traders and.
But that was one thing that you demanded from
we
the
demanded.
We
demanded, and we saw it in their submission.
In their submission,
we didn't supervise the site in terms of requirement.
Did you check to see if what they sent to you in their submission was true?
No, it was a statement they made.
Yes, in the statement, did your office verify that this thing that we require of them is true?
No, we are going beyond our brief.
So the fact that they gave you a statement was enough?
To a large extent. And we saw the pavilion or whatever, the temporary structure in place.
You saw the structure?
We saw it.
Okay, but did you check it to see if
we didn't go to that extent.
Why not?
Well, we felt that we would go too far. We trust the Abuja Investment Company Limited that they will not do anything below standard.
Many of the traders said that there is a case in court halting this movement to the temporary site. Is there any truth to this, and is there an update on that?
I think there's a contradiction here.
Okay.
They agree to the effect that they are going to relocate to a temporary site, and even paid for it. And also, for them to say that there's a court case.
Is there a court case?
I'm not aware. I'm not aware. Now, I think what we should now look at is the post-demolition exercise. The Abuja Investment Company Limited, they must have this time schedule for this project. So instead of dragging, they should allow the company to move to ground and actualize this, the desire to have a more befitting business environment. Now, that will go a long way in securing the environment very well, because we don't want to abandon structures or a situation where you leave a land fallow. So long as you leave a fallow, then definitely some, insecurity and criminality will take the space. So the best bet is to see how we will accelerate the pace of redevelopment of that particular plot. That will help. Beyond that, in addition, though there's a police post at that particular location, within the market, it's still there. Maybe they need more men that will patrol around that place 2 to 4 hours. But most importantly is for the construction to start in earnest and finish in earnest equally.
Many people don't quite understand that there's a master plan for the FCT. There's a way things are supposed to be run. There's a way businesses are supposed to be run. There's a way places are supposed to be. Just so people can understand why this is happening. Because I know there'll be more. I know that there are going to be more demolitions that will shock more people.
The case of UTC is even better. We're not dealing with illegal. We're not dealing with squatters or illegal structures. We're dealing with
actual structures.
Yeah, so these are people that have, a status that is recognized and respected. So coming to the issue of the master plan, we're just coming up from Gishiri, Katampi. For the past, this will be our third operation there. Removing squatters, people that are buying land from chiefs and locals.
Talk a bit about these markets in the FCT. What are some of the things that your office is going to be doing in the nearest future to ensure proper organization?
Well, for the master plan, it made provision for markets at every district, from the sector center, the district center, sector center, neighborhood centers. Beyond that, there are markets provided in the master plan. So if you take Jahi, for example, the Jahi market, like the current Mabushi market, it's a sector, that market serves Jahi, Mabushi, Katampe, and part of, I think. So markets are there. The only thing is slow implementation of the master plan. That's why we're having these makeshift markets, ad-hoc markets here and there. They are not recognized by the master plan, and that's why we're having issues with them. So for markets that are within the master plan, like Area 1, Area 2, the UTC, Wuse is not a market.
Wuse market?
By the master plan, it's a school site. It's a school site. So it's a transit.
Are you going to demolish Wuse market? This one you're not looking at me. Are you going to demolish Wuse market?
I wish.
So that market's supposed to be a school?
So it's a school site.
That explains the bricks. They're those classroom bricks.
Supposed to be a transit market.
Wow. I did not know that.
Okay, not it, man.
Okay. So with these markets now, you're going to be working towards proper organization? Are there some that we should be thinking about right now?
Yeah, we should. For removers, I think we say zone 3. They're on the list. We need to redevelop that neighborhood center. They're on the list. And many others. Maybe area 2, I'm not too sure. But we'll let you know.
Okay.
Equally let the operators know, the traders know.
Yes, that would be very important.
Yes,
well, you have a lot of work ahead of you.
We are trained for it, man.
Well, there's no problem with that one. Thank you very much, Mr. Hassan, for making out the time to answer a few of our questions. And this is going to be ongoing. You're
welcome, man.
We're going to keep having you over and over.
We want it. We'd like to engage me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. We've heard since that interview that the renovation work at the UTC complex in Area 10 is a 2-year project. The temporary site is right beside the complex, so customers can still meet up with sellers within the neighborhood. It is alleged that those refusing to relocate are a few individuals that have engaged in exploiting traders, some of them shop agents. This demolition was necessary. But the FCT authorities are being urged to safeguard already existing businesses while opening up the space to new enterprises. Security in Abuja is a very serious issue, and the FCTA administration is doing what it can to prevent these security issues from happening in the first place. One of these methods is the demolishing of illegal structures, especially those known to harbor criminal elements. Some people believe these measures put a divide between the people and government and makes people feel alienated, destroying any sense of belonging necessary to ensure citizen engagement in community development. While this dynamic is navigated by those concerned, please keep yourself safe. That's Dateline Abuja this week. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kayla Magwa. See you next time.